lot is happening right now. Tyreek Hill has 21 kids. Amber Rose has deleted her wholeness and she's now affectionately known as a conservative slut. And, well, there's Joe Biden, our our president. And listen, we're going to talk about it all and more on this week's episode of Black and Classic Podcast with your host, Brittany Monet.
Blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture.
So, guys, let's jump right on into local news, okay? Because a lot is happening. I want to get to it all and I want to speak to you guys about it because it's crazy, it's interesting. I don't know where the world is going, but we're going to sit down and discuss it. All right. Now, first up, I wanted to talk about what's going on in Connecticut as it relates to Joe Biden. So we had Congressman Jim Hines come out basically and just tell Sleepy Joe to step down, okay? He went to X, aka old Twitter, and he made a tweet basically stating how excellent Joe was, the great things about Joe Biden, but his time has run out. It indeed has, and it's time for someone else to step up, I guess. And then that was on the 11th. So that was this week, the 11th, which I guess was 2 days ago. Now, yesterday, the Connecticut governor came out to an event. It was held in New Haven, which is a city here in Connecticut. And he was asked about these tweets from Congressman Jim Hines, which to that he replied, what did he say exactly? I'll get that for you. He has come to the same conclusion about Joe Biden. Now, this is very interesting because typically this is the time where political figures are endorsing candidates, they're backing candidates, they're supporting their messages, they're coming out strong to back their political person, right? So if you're of the Democratic Party, you're supposed to support these people, not say, hey, we don't think he should do another 4. You come out to rah, 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 root for him, cheer for him. So it's quite interesting to see political figures saying, we might want to think twice about this. Now, on the contrary, you have other, famous people in Hollywood stating that they think Joe should step down and not run again, which is quite interesting. If I go into my conspiracy theory bag, which I do a lot over here, I believe that they had this debate, which felt kind of early, feels kind of early to be talking about this. Usually I feel September, October into November, we're really big on it and it's like full force, maybe even a little bit of August. But to have this be, what was that, June or so, coming out with a presidential debate is kind of interesting. I don't know. I feel like they wanted to test the waters and just say, okay, let's see how because right now with Joe just, signing on to different, laws and things like that, of course you can stay in the people's mind and on the people's hearts. However, when it's time to run, you got to go out and basically touch the people. Your campaign isn't behind closed doors. You have to be out. So I feel as though they set up that debate, which, shoot me if I'm wrong, okay? I don't care. This is us very ignorant to politics, right? We're having a very informal conversation about it just so we can be interested and find out more. So if I'm wrong, sue me, right? But they had this debate and Joe did not perform well. They tried to do a whole nother event to say, okay, no, look, like he's great. And that didn't go well. And I just believe that because things are not going well, now they're like, okay, we got to kind of politely sit grandpa down so we can usher someone in quickly. So with that being said, and I'll touch on to this later in highlights, in headlines, but with that being said, please pay attention to these next few weeks and upcoming months. It's going to get weird. It's going to get weird fast, especially since they're like in a full campaign to basically sit him down. Someone has to get ushered in and we have to see who that's going to be and what they're going to be talking about, because the Democrats, it's looking bad out here for you, okay? It's looking really bad. And with that being said, we're going to move on to some more interesting news. You guys know I love me some Eric Adams, and Eric Adams has discovered trash cans, believe it or not. If you don't know who Eric Adams is, he is don't quote me, the mayor of New York City, and he has discovered trash cans, which is quite interesting. It's weird, and it's just a wild thing. So I feel like if you live in any, I guess not a big city, but like a smaller city or a town, you know the trash cans with the wheels, with the lid. New York City has now discovered these, and they're rolling them out. It was a big press conference about how they're now going to be using these garbage cans, which I guess, great, right? Let's use these garbage cans. However, it was very comical because it was like, yeah, no, everyone uses those, you know? And I get the excitement because on one hand, if you've ever been to New York, any part of New York really, especially that heavy metropolitan area, you would have to think they have to have a garbage truck go down these streets. And where are they going to do that at? Because the streets are sometimes double, triple parked. Not to joke, but double, triple parked. Don't believe what you see on Power and what you see on any of that 50 universe over there on Stars. No, the parking is absolutely terrible. And that was the first thing that came to mind. Okay, great. We have these bins, but how are the garbage trucks going to get to them? I don't know. Kudos to y'all, because in the same breath, Hartford, Connecticut is now struggling with a rat infestation. It's going crazy. The rats are everywhere. People are terrified, they say, to go outside or be out in the dark. And what I will say is when you have a very, very densely populated area, it's only going to attract rats. And then on top of that, when the area, I want to say this so PC, when the area is not the most cleanly, when it's not the most sanitary, and then also when you have a high population of homeless people, you typically start to see a lot of rodents because they're drawn to that. So if your streets smell like urine, if your streets have a lot of debris and dirt on them, you know, it's just going to attract rodents. And then on top of that, when you are in these densely populated areas with bad landlords and, you know, bad housing, it's just going to do that because the rats now can take over, and there's no one to say, especially a landlord, there's no one to say, oh, we need to clean this up or we need to do better. Now, if you go to a very rich and ritzy town, oh, please believe they are cleaning it up, okay? That is not allowed. Your trash everywhere, litter, all types of food in different places, that is not going to happen. That is not going to cut it. And that's why you don't see it there, because they take care of their vegetation. They take care of their streets. They take care of, you know, the housing and things like that. They have HOAs and everything like that. Although it sounds very expensive, let's not lie, that is how the town stays clean, because they have a lot of things in place in order to reduce infestation of rats and bed bugs and, you know, all different types of rodents, raccoons and possums and I mean, maybe not a possum, because I feel like you go anywhere and see a possum for real, like, let's be honest, but definitely the rats and the mice and bed bugs and roaches and things like that. Granted, that's not exclusive to my shade of people. It is not mutually exclusive to us. It is exclusive to densely populated areas. So whether that be somewhere in California, in Florida, whether that's in Connecticut or New York, if it's densely populated and it's not cared for, then it's going to attract those types of things. But with all that being said, I mean, shout out to Eric Adams, you know what I'm saying? He definitely was very proud of his trash cans and his bins. So That's interesting. Um, so yeah, that's insane. I just got, hold on, y'all. Something just came through while we are recording. So let's react, I guess, right? 7 minutes ago. Okay. Which is so crazy because I was going to wait and watch this. It was the Pennsylvania rally with Donald Trump. And I said, I don't see it being live right now. So I decided not to. But it says Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after popping noises heard at his Pennsylvania rally. So this is coming in from NBC News. This did just happen. So we're going to just quickly discuss this. Okay, so they're saying shots apparently fired at Trump rally. We don't we don't know too much. Let's see. They said Trump had blood on the side of his head and his ear. But we don't know. That could have been from the fall of his Secret Service. That could have been from hitting his head on some wood. Um, I mean, they came in for Big Don. They definitely came in for Big Don. I don't believe they were trying to take Donnie out. I will not lie to you. But that is very interesting. I told y'all, it is getting literally crazy. And shout out to you for sending this to me. Appreciate you. It is literally getting crazy because the left don't know what to do, and the right is like, fuck it, we gotta stick it out and stick with this man because the people love him, and if we just hold tight, we there's no way we can lose against them, you know. So we just stick tight with him, and it'll be fine. I don't think this was a stunt at this moment. I don't think this was a stunt pulled off by anyone in his team because let me tell you, that is indeed terrifying. Looks like they're trying to rush him off the stage, but he's definitely letting the people know he's a man of the people. And they're holding him as if he was hit. I don't believe he was hit. I believe his team hurt him, but what an insane thing to happen. You know what I mean? What are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? I'm watching this live right now. I definitely will insert some clips because this is just wild. Shout out to his Secret Service team. The people in the crowd are losing their absolute mind. Shout out to this guy right here with his middle finger. I would feel you would be more so, I don't know. This is actually crazy. I cannot believe this happened. 2024 feels like a live nightmare. If I thought 2020 was as crazy it was gonna get, right? We had COVID, we had lockdown, we had to stay in the house, people were dying left and right. No one knew their up from their down. No one knew what to do. Fast forward to 2024, Cat Williams did kick off this bullshit. I will not lie. He definitely did kick this shit off because he told us truths are coming out, shit's happening, I'm exposing it all, and here's how it's gonna go. And now we're in a time where allegedly, because hey, this just happened, so more is going to be revealed, but you have a president being allegedly shot at. You have another president who cannot formulate a sentence or a thought beyond knowing his first name, and that is even questionable at this point. It's insane. Like, what in the actual F? What in the actual F? I don't know. Both candidates are in some deep shit, and I think it's worse off for us. Okay, I think we are the ones that suffer the most, and I say it in a way that's almost funny, but we literally do suffer the most because this can't be real life. It just honestly can't. The people online say, oh, this feels like a simulation. I do believe this feels like a simulation. I feel as though someone is moving buttons and playing different games to see how the people will react, because there is just absolutely no way, love. There is just absolutely no way this is happening. President Trump allegedly shot at. Yikes. But you know what? With that being said, I guess with that being breaking news, we are definitely going to roll into headlines for this week. First up, I wanted to address the news of Tyreek Hill, who is if I am not mistaken, a Miami's Dolphin. Let's see. Miami's Dolphin football player. Yes, he is. Tyreek Hill is 30 years old, born in 1994, and allegedly, a strong ledge, he has 8 to 12 kids. Now, I say allegedly because people report 12, but when I go and do my research, I see 8, and the 8th is on the way. This was the one that was just announced. But either way it flows and either way it goes, 8 to 12 kids at the age of 30 is actually crazy. It is actually crazy. I know they say he got a bunch of money for playing. He's a great, what is he, a quarterback or some shit like that? He's an, wide receiver. Girl, I don't know. All I do know is there is absolutely no reason why he should have 8 to 12 kids at 30. And I think he had 5 this year, the 5th being on the way. Let me tell you something. If my son, daughter, child, whatever, had the audacity, first of all, had the audacity to tell me that the man she's having a baby with has 8 to 12 kids and he's 30, I don't give a flying salmon fish how many dollars are attached to that man's name. You better not never come home and tell me that you are having a child with him, because he don't respect his body and neither do you. Because any woman that goes after and has a child with this man is only looking for a paycheck. That's it. You are literally only looking for a paycheck. Not to mention, football might be one of the worst sports to chase a man for some money, only because they can get hurt so fucking bad. They're at risk every time they play, practice, whatever. One hit, it's donezo. And then they get hit so many times that, okay, now you're done with your career, but now you got CTE and you don't know your left from your right, and you ready to shoot up everybody. You know what I'm saying? You ready to kill everybody under the sun because your brain has been rattling around. You know, so all in all, it just does not make sense. I think someone needs to tap his parents on the shoulder. And I know a lot of times when you make a certain amount of money, people don't want to be honest with you. But Tyreek Hill, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a mess, bro. This is actually insane. I don't care how much money you got, this has to stop. For all the money you got, that means you can buy condoms, like a lifetime supply you can buy. And for some reason you've decided that that don't make too much sense. I'm just gonna have a bunch of kids. The sperm and it's just not that good. I'm gonna be honest with you, because everyone around you refuses to, and I can't benefit off you. So I feel like, why not people to people connect with you and let you know this is dumb as hell. You are actually gross, and I would probably venture to say you probably need a therapist, because something is just not making too much sense to me. Maybe I'd say 5 or 6, you know what I mean? Because you come into some money, you start fucking fast, and every bad bitch is ready for you. She's lined up, she's primed up, she's good to go. Don't take too much. All you gotta do is say, I'm Tyreek Hill, I pay for the Miami Dolphins. They could do a quick Google, see how much you're worth. What's done is done. So hey, you get up to 6, I feel you. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's where we got a problem, young man. That's where we actually have a problem. That does not make sense to me at all. I also would venture to say you probably need new friends, because at some point your friend should tap you and say, hey, bruh, you ain't even going to be able to take care of all them kids successfully. So maybe stop. And then if you tell me, oh, you know, I just like the way it... First of all, you got to think about how many women he's sleeping with raw. Sir, again, do you care about your own body, your own health? I don't know. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because one of us, and say that maybe you get these women tested. You get tested frequently. You test them. We're going to go with that theory. And everyone's clean and everyone's healthy. Even still, why do we keep needing to have children? You got enough that you could go ahead and get snip, vasectomy, get it done. You've got enough money. You can get it done. You probably got enough money to get the best reversal known to man. I don't know why at 8 to 12 kids you would need a reversal, but hey, maybe you do. You can fill us in on that later. But right now, we want to make sure this slows down. We want to make sure this slows down because this is actually crazy as hell. And while you're at it, go ahead and grab your mama and your daddy and bring them right around with you just so they can hear this. Y'all need to step up and be parents and stop trying to be a friend, because it's clearly everyone around you is just trying to be a friend and trying to benefit off you. Because why is no one telling you that it's fucking crazy? Why do people on the internet have to talk about it for you to probably think, oh, it's a little wild, but I'm gonna keep doing me, because everyone around you is validating you and enabling you to keep doing this dumb shit. Sir, you are 30 years old with a fucking preschool running around. Got to stop. It's gotta stop. It's nasty. It's disgusting. And I hope everyone around, like, you shouldn't feel embarrassed because you're the one with the money and you're the one doing and living your life. It should be the people around you that are embarrassed that they haven't stepped up to you and told you this is nasty and dumb as shit. And for the women, y'all too should take some of that money and find a therapist, because you are going to need it. And you know what? I'm gonna move on because that's a lot there. That's a lot there. And on the same vein, and talking about sexual prowess and being promiscuous, we have Amber Rose. Amber Rose will be speaking at the RNC, and that is basically where a bunch of people who are Republicans get together and they do speeches and they do talks and they go, rah, 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 we're so Republican. So at this RNC, they've announced that Amber Rose will be speaking. Now, Amber Rose will be speaking because recently Amber Rose took to social media, we'll say, Instagram, probably other platforms, to basically say she's a conservative now. She's a Republican, which I don't say anyone can't change parties or can't learn and discover new things, but I think that a lot of it has to happen. Not saying it didn't happen behind the scenes for her. I just believe it happens like she made a post and now she's at the RNC. That to me is a little too quick. It's a little too quick. You know what I mean? Like, one tweet, one post does not delete the wholeness. It simply does not. One tweet, one post does not make you a conservative. It does not. You had the slut walk. This happened. This went down in LA. Everyone knows about it. You've been running around naked all over the country, all over the world, all throughout the continent for how many years? So I think it's just a big jump to go from that to one post to now speaking at the RNC. I understand the idea for the Republicans, but I think what we should have did is we should have slow rolled this. Maybe got her to do some small speaking engagements. Maybe get her a little talking point on Fox. You know, something to just ease ease her in, you know what I mean? Maybe let her sit down with Tucker Carlson. I don't know. Something to just, although they're not loving Tucker either, but ease her into this. Jumping to the RNC is a little crazy, so I do understand why some Republicans are outraged, because it's like, girl, what the fuck? Like, in 2 weeks, she can totally decide to be, you know, which, again, people can have their own fucking mind to make their own decisions, but it's just a little... It's pandering. Fuck it, we'll say it. It's pandering, but it's a terrible, terrible, terrible job of pandering, because it's just so obvious. It's kind of like Kamala at the BET Awards. It's kind of like, you know, when everyone starts talking about, oh, we gotta vote. But they're only doing it to one demographic, and they never do it. Like, 4 years, we never heard Kamala speak, and all of a sudden she's you know, doing these things at the BET Awards. It's pandering, and it's very fucking lazy. I don't know what voter they think Amber Rose is going to bring out, but I can guarantee you she's not bringing any fucking voter out. That is also why it would have made sense to slow roll this thing. If they slow roll this thing, she might perk up the ears of different people. So then we would have been like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? And we could have slow rolled her into being a conservative, right? But jumping her to be a conservative, to pander to whoever the fuck, I guess because she dated rappers and she has kids by rappers, that they're like, oh, well, this would be a great person to have speak. But that pandering is just not a good job. It's so fucking lazy. And I think that's the thing about pandering that's very offensive, is when it's really fucking lazy. And it's very like, oh, you thought that was gonna get it done? Try again. You know what I mean? So that's my thought on the Amber Rose thing. I do believe it's a very lazy job. I believe that, you know, there's a bunch of other people I think you could have went and got if you wanted to pander to us. They did it with Kanye, but Kanye had been very politically outrageous. So I don't know. I wasn't really here for it. I love that she changed her mind. I wish someone would have backed her and gave her like a podcast or something, you know, the Daily Wire or some shit. I don't know, whoever's thinking it's a fabulous idea to have her speak at the RNC could have just gave the girl a podcast and let her run wild, to give her the talking points. She would be the voice box, and just let her read the script. Make her sound super intelligent, and the people will love it, eat it up, and then you can have her start speaking and maybe opening for people or doing whatever the fuck else you find amusing. But I don't think that we definitely needed her at the RNC, because I don't know what voters they assume want to come out for Amber Rose. She's not getting it done for me, and I don't know who the demographic is that she's getting it done for. But those are just my 2 cents. Now, with everything that's happening with Trump right now, which, guys, how crazy is that, right? Like, insane. I'm just going to keep hitting refresh just to get the updates as they come in. But I wanted to talk about Joe Biden because, guys, again, listen to me, okay? Joe Biden. One thing about it, actually, I'm surprised that's my first time doing that, because I love Joe. That's, you know, that's my president. Nope, joking. But one thing about Joe, I listen to him all the time, so I'm surprised that's my first time slipping between their names. But Joe Biden is definitely on his way out of here. I knew when I found out his age. I thought I was joking. I really thought this man was about to be 90. I knew when I found out his age that he wasn't going to make it another 4 years. I'm really shocked that they fought so hard to make us believe that he was going to make it another 4 years, because just how in the fuck would we believe that? Oh, wow, yeah. Donnie had quite a bit of blood on him. Really red. But anyways, into Joe. So Joe,
Picked Vice President Trump to be vice president. I think she was not qualified to be president.
In the front row, Biden's national security advisor rubbed his face nervously. The others stared straight ahead, no doubt aware the cameras were upon them. It may have been forgivable on its own, but it followed another mortifying mistake at an event just before, when he was introducing President Zelensky of Ukraine.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. We're going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway.
This NATO summit, he's talking. And what got me is not only did he confuse Zelensky, who is the, I guess you would say, president of Ukraine. I don't know if that's the term they use. But president of Ukraine with Vladimir Putin, his sworn enemy. You then call your VP, which again lets me know they kept Kamala locked away somewhere until they needed her to speak for the black voice. Which is another reason why I said when they went and got her, I'm pretty certain I said this. I hope I said this on a podcast. When they went and got her, it was a fucking joke. They were literally just trying to get in black woman voters. That's what they wanted. They just wanted the black woman vote. So they said, let's go jump and get Kamala. If you ever thought they were going to take that lady serious, you're a fucking lunatic. Like, they were never going to do that. They wanted a vote, so they went and got who they could get, who could sign on. And respectfully so, it goes to show when he's introducing or talking about her, he called her, I won't say he called her, he referred to her as Vice President Trump. He said, I would have Vice President Trump. You gotta take a listen. You gotta take a listen, because it's like, that's not even that lady name. I could see if he said Vice President Kamala Harrison, right? Like, he had her name, but it wasn't all the way her name. You know what I'm saying? I would have rocked with that, because I would have said, maybe, you know, he's Sleepy Joe, the battery's dying, and he just has to go and get charged up again. You know what I mean? Or maybe, like I always say, the person in his ear, it came through a little staticky, so he heard Kamala Harrison and not Kamala Harris, right? Like, maybe that happened. But for you to refer to your vice president as, again, your sworn enemy, President Trump, I just simply don't think there's any denying how messed up he is. There's just no more denying it. You know what I mean? And you can't shrug it off. You can't say, oh, the teleprompter was like, there's nothing for you to say, because any sane person, any lucid person with an operating brain between their shoulders would know who they are introducing and who they are speaking to. If you asked me to name my mother, I would be able to just quickly spit it out to you. If you asked me to name members of my family, I would just quickly spit it out to you. If you asked me to name who is my boss, I would just quickly spit it out to you. But if you ask someone who is clearly dealing with some sort of issue, word on the curb is it's Parkinson's. But if you're dealing with someone with some sort of health issue that is affecting their cognizant brain and like understanding and speaking and all of those different type of functions, yeah, they may not spit it out quickly and or right. And we are in a fucked up place because we're coming off of the heels of what happened not too long ago at his presidential debate. Now we're getting past the presidential debate and you can't even introduce your vice president right. You can't introduce this man where you're sending billions. I almost fucked around and got mad, y'all. He is sending billions to this man and he can't even give his name correctly. You calling him Vladimir Putin and you don't even know the man's name that you're giving billions and billions of dollars to, and you want to send troops over to fight his war and you don't know his name and he's standing next to you. We are in a crisis, because what the hell? That don't make too much sense to me. Like I always say, it's my tax money. I need to understand what you're doing with it. You can't even tell me what you're doing it because you can barely tell me the person you sending it to. You don't even know his name. You run around calling him Vladimir Putin, President Putin. And he tried to spin it. I told y'all that the person in his ear got his back because he's tried to spin it. And he said, President Putin, he's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. Beautiful. Beautiful. Not enough, though. Not enough. Had it been your first mess up, Joe, I probably would have rolled with you. I probably would have rolled. Slip of the tongue. It happens. Water off my back. It happens. It is what it is. But this is not your first time. And it's been incident after incident after incident after incident after incident. So yes, like I said, people are coming out, whether they're from Hollywood or they're in your own political party. They're coming out and they're saying, hey, we got to sit Joe down. We got to put grandpa in a home, make sure he's comfortable. But this country he cannot run. No, ma'am. He cannot run this country because he can't he can't even get in front of the people he's supposed to be leading and speak. The simplest thing a politician can do is get in front of you and talk. Whether it's truths or it's lies. All they got to do is get in front of you and talk well. Make it sound good. Make the people get excited. You know what I mean? That's all they have to do. If he can't do that, he really cannot do his job, because if we can't hear from you at rallies and at speeches and you know, at these different summits and conferences and what the fuck else, if we can't count on you, Joe, to just get that done, I don't want to know what you're doing in that White House. I don't want to know, because I can guarantee it's some nonsense. Without a doubt, it's some nonsense. It's oh God, it's just, we are in a bad place and we are in bad shape. For breaking news in the middle of our podcast, guys, how crazy is that? For all of that to be happening, and now Trump is, you know, getting shot. We have Elon Musk saying, I fully endorse President Trump and hope his rapid recovery. The man is fine. No matter your politics, please pray for Donald Trump and pray for America. Definitely pray for America, because what the fuck? Yeah, and I mean, if you even want to, oh, I love that. It says Trump's eldest son, Donnie J. Trump, Donnie J. That is his own name, but Donald Trump Jr. posts on X that his father will never stop fighting to save America. With a photo of him walking off of this stage. Political violence is never tolerated. Yeah, so I mean okay. I'm looking at the pictures, guys. I'm gonna just start throwing some up, and I'm not gonna lie, it's literally a crazy scene, but it's also like, again, what is actually going on? I don't think I can move on from this. I know next week when when I and you sit down to talk again, we'll probably have some more information, but right now this is actually happening and it's really crazy. I think, you know, if I'm gonna be funny and if I'm gonna joke, I definitely know he's gonna be I definitely know Donnie J is about to be comparing himself to every rapper in the world. Are you kidding me? Oh, he's about to go so hard, okay, to relate to the black people. He's a felon. Now, granted, okay, don't come for me. These are not exclusive just to black people. But again, when they pander, we have to be real about these things. These are what the things that they pander towards, right? The stereotypes. So you have, he is a felon. He's now been shot. I mean, one thing about it, child, Granted, I don't want to get into saying that, you know, Donnie J definitely this quick response in a moment because it just happened about an hour ago at this point, I guess. It feels very conspiracy. Or that's just where my mind is going. But I think it's gonna be to rile people up, get people sympathetic, and all of these things, you know what I mean? And really force people in droves to like go for Trump, you know what I mean? And really get behind him, because you have Sleepy Joe here who is damn near one sleep away from, you know. So then we have our other president who's turning it the fuck up, okay? Felon, shot, okay? Running for president, you know what I'm saying? He trying to be backed by the people, you know, like it's just, what the fuck? My mind simply can't wrap itself around what's going on right now. I wish I could stay on and see how things develop, but I'm not going to tie y'all up like that. We will definitely keep a close eye on this because shit is going down. Shit is definitely going down. And we're in a weird place right now. We are definitely in a weird place. But with that being said, we are going to wrap this up. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me like y'all do every week. It is all love and much appreciated. And again, if there's anything that I said that you just, you don't agree with, you don't like, you don't love that I said it, like I say every week, of course, y'all already know what I'm going to say. Debate your granny. I don't give a fuck. And with that being said, I will talk to y'all next Sunday. This has been so much fun. Can't believe we have breaking news right in the middle of everything. But hey, sometimes that's how it happens. With that being said, stay prayed up, stay dangerous, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.